I suppose this is a bit ironic, but an illustration of a stag and a hind and a calf. And it's telling you it's a red deer, so we... if we see one, we know what we're looking at. But I suppose it is a bit ironic, isn't it? Because tomorrow, the last meet up here, and the National Trust ban.
I can't really believe it. It's the end of an era. And it'll be the end of the red deer, I fear. I think it's the greatest mistake the National Trust could have made.
I suppose this must be one of the smallest churches on Exmoor.
Well, next after Calbone, I think it is the smallest.
It's had its tower chopped off.
I don't think the tower was ever any taller than that.
Oh, really? Beautiful doorway, isn't it?
Beautiful. Seen many comings and goings.
Such a simple little church.
It's the parish church for a parish of scattered farms. There's no village. There's, I think, about 12 farms. It's had 2 restorations, both of which carry a story with them. The main restoration was sometime in the last century, when the roof was literally collapsing and they had to get a new roof on it. And the tale is that a little donkey, I think his name was Zulu, came up and down from Porlock twice a day at the 7 miles, that is 28 miles in every day, up the rough tracks with a little cart, hauling the timber for this roof. And his picture is there, as well as anyone today can draw it.
I noticed the signature.
And that is the first tale of the first restoration. This roof is a memorial to a little donkey. And the second restoration was in my time, when I lived in this parish. Oh, I can't remember how many years ago it was. I'm not good at remembering dates and times. But the church was beginning to fall into disrepair, and it looked as if it was going to become one of those poor little redundant churches. But then the parishioners of this parish, just about 12 families, I think, someday I'll count up the farms, it's just a handful of farms in this parish, they just said they would not lose their parish church. And they banded together and said they would do the restoration themselves. And so, headed by Geoffrey Blackmore, who farmed at Westlea, rounded them all up, and they got ladders, and whenever any one of them had time, they came out here and they repointed the whole of the outside.
So this was really local community.
This is a wonderful example of self-help. And altogether, they saved the church. And then there was one thing missing, or not yet put up, and that was a lightning conductor. They had to have a lightning conductor, and they couldn't afford to pay the extortionate prices asked by a particular firm to do that last bit. So Geoffrey Blackmore went down to Minehead it was, and bought a coil of copper wire for about 10 pence from the market down there, and came up and got his ladders rigged, and he climbed up the outside of the church tower and fitted the copper wire as a lightning conductor, and I think it's still there. And so that's the tale of how the church has been saved twice over.
Here on Exmoor, we're surrounded by the forces of nature. What are your beliefs?
Well, people ask me sometimes, do I believe in God? I'd say it depends what you mean by God. But if you mean, as I feel, that there is some great spirit presiding over everything, prevailing everywhere, present in everything, in one continuous flow, a spirit of life and being, then if you equate that with God, yes, I do believe in God.
The hunt draws an enthusiastic following, and the next day we were treated to a small party of elegant French riders, complete with French horn.
Oh, aren't you lovely? Aren't you lovely?
There's one that was walked on the farm.
Hope met up with Diana Scott, joint master of the Devon and Somerset.
Well, very important people to the community, these, aren't they? We
Aren't
would like
they?
to be without them.
I simply cannot imagine Exmoor without hounds and hunting. And that's
Exmoor
the
would
truth.
be a completely empty place if it was just holidaymakers in the summer. People who want to see hunting band come and hold the gun to the head of these hounds at the end of the day.
And the livelihood, of course, of the
Well, it's a complete social
Farriers.
network.
fodder merchants, everybody.
It's a huge spin-off. I mean, as I've said to many people, the hunt alone, we employ 11 people. But, it probably doesn't sound a lot to a town-living person, 11 people, but to us that's a
It
lot
does.
of jobs. A lot of jobs. And there wouldn't be any deer for people to come and see anyway without the hunting.
No, that
These
is
are
what-
the best friends to the red deer, aren't they? Well, history's proved it, hasn't
History has
it?
proved
It's-
it.
When there was no hunting here in the 1800s, the deer were
The
wiped
deer
out.
were almost wiped out.
That's
It was
right.
only the establishment of the new pack, the Devon and Somerset staghounds, that saved the deer.
That's right. And it's such a shame that the so-called do-gooders, the bunny huggers of this world, think they're protecting the deer by stopping hunting, they think.
What will happen to the deer if hunting stopped? Two things have made Exmoor what it is today, farming and hunting. I cannot imagine Exmoor without hunting. For me, hunting is the spirit of Exmoor, the pageant of the countryside.
Magnificent, don't they, against the gorse?
A short while ago, I saw a magnificent herd of red deer, over 100 of them, on Mollem Moor coming up out of Redford Bottom. A week or so later, I saw what I presumed to be the same herd on the north flank of Anstey Common, and a sight to be seen nowhere else in England. But such a herd exists only because of the hunting.
Hope? Have you drawn them?
Yeah, drawn pictures of many things, horses, hounds, hunting scenes, landscapes.
Just after 11, the hunt was ready for the off, but not before some friendly competition between the French and English horns.
deer in any numbers do very great damage to farmland and crops. The deer depend for their well-being on the goodwill of the farmers and landowners. Because hunting is the sport of this country, and especially of the farmers tolerate the damage. But if hunting were to cease, they would not. The big herds would be shot out. People outside this area do not understand what hunting means to Exmoor. Almost everything is associated with or devolves from the hunts, staghounds and foxhounds.
Opinions divide sharply on the place of hunting in a modern society, but no one can doubt Hope's belief in the importance of hunting to Exmoor and its people. There's also no doubt of Hope's love for the ponies and the deer that she has sketched and written about down the years.
You can't tell where they'll go. You can only guess, and it's a fair guess. Once they've got the stag away, and they do that with what they call the tufters, the old steady hounds, then they send for the pack. And you may have noticed a galloping red coat just now up from the top. That was one of the whippers in riding for the pack.
Independent, forthright, and very strong-willed at times, it is hard not to feel a deep respect and affection for someone who gives so generously to Exmoor and to others. A tough individual and a remarkable lady with a beautiful name, Hope Bourne.
There's a little piece in this book. It's my favourite piece, and I think it sums you up. I don't know how you're going to react to it. You wrote this in 1963 in your little book, Living on Exmoor. And you say, "How many people see the stars as I do? Not many in this modern world, I think. We have bartered our heritage for too many other things. Our small lives are hemmed about with fetters of our own making, and our souls are caught in a web of our own weaving. Who shall set us free? I know not the answer.